Greetings, Mrs. Alarcon and fellow classmates. I'm Michelle Larimore. This is my Project 1 review for Mobile Interfaces and Usability, January 2013. What part of the assignment was easiest and why? The easiest part of the assignment was creating the search and browse sections. The only difficulty I had was the CSS. I didn't want to use specialized CSS for mobile because I know next week we'll be using jQuery Mobile and that will change everything. What part of the assignment was most difficult and why? The most difficult part of the assignment was not a requirement for the assignment. Since I had previously started this class last semester, I had to have a different look to my app. I decided I wanted to have rotating images in my call to action feature. I had previously watched some jQuery videos on lynda.com that showed how to create rotating images, so I went back and reviewed the video and tried the code, but later realized it was pointing to an href for the image files and not the image source folder. I did some additional research and found some other code I could use for the image rotator that worked pointing to image source. My failure to commit and push to GitHub as soon as I had a working page was where I went wrong, because when I noticed that I was going to have to tweak the page for it to look good in mobile view, I broke the code and spent a great deal of time and frustration trying to figure out what I'd done wrong. Thankfully, it's now fixed and working. What previous information from previous courses did you utilize to complete this project? My previous courses here at Full Sail that dealt with code was mostly with JavaScript. I do, however, have previous HTML and CSS experience that I gained earning an associate's in web development. What information did you research to complete this project? I researched jQuery image rotation and had to do a little bit of research to try and avoid using specialized CSS for mobile because I know it won't work next week. I came across some interesting articles concerning viewport size typography on CSStricks.com. As far as my design goes, I placed my search field up in the upper right hand corner of my page because it's best practices. I use rotating images for my call to action feature because it grabs the page visitor's attention. My application is a special occasion app that tracks dates for gift-giving purposes like birthdays, anniversaries, etc. The browse items that I chose were spend, because it's always important to know how much you plan on spending on purchases, occasion, so you know which occasion is being tracked, sex, so you know what kind of gift to buy. You don't want to buy a purse for a man. State, so if you have to ship the gift somewhere, you have plenty of time to make the date. And last name. Later on, I may further break down last name with first name when you have multiple people in the same family, but for now, last name is important so you know who you are purchasing the gift for. What do you think of client-side mobile development so far? So far, I'm enjoying the programming. Other than the difficulties I faced, which were much of my own creation, it wasn't too difficult. How has a feature search browse pattern you've incorporated into your CRUD application this week improved its usability? This week, the search and browse are non-functional, so they only add an aesthetic to my page at this time. The feature or CTA section adds attention to the page, creating an interest in using the app. Have you identified other instances in your application where the interactivity could be improved to be more usable? Certainly when we continue in week 2 and have a functioning search and browse section, a nav bar with links to home, info, or about, it will improve usability. How do you anticipate Project 2 will improve your application's design? I know there will be some definitive changes to my app design when we incorporate JQM to our app. It has certain feature designs it adds to your pages for search, radio buttons, checkboxes, text, input, etc. You have a little bit more flexibility with your design using Theme Roller as far as choosing more colors, as there are a set number of themes for colors in JQM.